What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Krusty's Fabrication. Today's video, we are going to leave the Subaru alone. We're going to try to move it out the way just a little bit further forward so we can work on our Omni, this one right here. And then, yeah, I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do today, but I got a general idea on what I want to do. I want to look at the radiator core support and see what it's going to take to rebuild it. Got a couple ideas, maybe some 1x1, maybe try to reuse what I cut off of the old parts car for that car right there. We'll just get into it and look at it. Also, I got to look at something down where the front motor mount is, because last time I was under the car, it kind of looked like the metal was starting to peel back where the motor mount mounts. So I want to look at that and see if we have to do any kind of repairs on that. First things first, though. As you can see, I don't know if you can see it, it's Joro season. So we got a bunch of them to knock off. Got a couple here, one right there, one right over here. I don't know if you see it. Just going on up. I really need a ladder so I can get to the top of the roof because I got some growth. Damn Joro sliders. Now you guys will probably understand why I'm ready to give up on this damn thing right here. Okay guys, here's what we got with the front end all torn apart, bumper off, grill off, all that stuff. You can see what he did when he cut all this stuff out trying to make room. To me it was completely unnecessary, but rather than switch to a Honda radiator and just move it over, this is what he did. So I can see he did leave some mounting points for the GLH front bearing thing. I'm going to leave those in place for now, so I know where they're at. Probably use like riv nuts or something to have the mount and do like a 1/4 bolt. There's a little better look at how I did the bumper tuck. I just cut a certain portion out of it. I think it was like 2 or 3 inches, maybe 3.5. Tack welded it back together. I gotta finish welding that eventually, so get all the rust off of it. While I'm here and kind of on the ground anyways, let's get up under here, take a look at what I'm worried about. It feels like this motor mount right here might be sagging, and in order to fix all this, I think I'm gonna have to replace this motor mount because of what he's got here. So I want to kind of get this motor setting where it's supposed to, so I know kind of how that's supposed to sit. Now if I come up under here, you'll kind of see what I'm looking at. If I come back here, I was viewing this and I saw this bent back. I don't know what that's all about. Then you got this kind of bent forward, or I guess that's bent forward, that's bent back. And then that, let me see if I can get you set up straight. You can see this motor mount's almost like an angled down. Kind of wondering if that's maybe from sitting here like this for so long and it just started to kind of tilt forward, or what the situation is. I have something I can put here. It looks like it shares. It looks like this piece right here is actually part of the body that's been pulled up. Looks like maybe a bolt for the fender right here. And then this looks like kind of like the front valence or whatever might got hit and smashed up. I was thinking I would cut this whole section out, like maybe up in here, and replace it with this piece from a shadow, because I do have an extra one. Now that I'm looking at it, the way that mounts is a little different than a shadow, because I think if I remember right, the shadow comes down and wraps around the bottom and bolts to the bottom. So that's pretty wild being integrated into this. But honestly, when I come up here, that front valence right here is kind of being hidden anyways by the body kit here. So I think I'm gonna cut these zip ties and get this body kit moved out of the way, and then we'll take a closer look at how it's done. Also, I just noticed this is wild the way it's mounted here. You got the two bolts here and then one here, but then over here it's like it's asymmetric. Oh, by the way, I think I'm going to try to reuse my shadows fog lights for this, because I got a different plan for my shadow. So I might use the mounts and see if I can't figure out that there. I'm thinking about coming in here and cutting in all this out to make room for those round lights. There's a lot of planning I got to do. Let me take a look at something first, because honestly, the way this is cut out, raises up right here, raises up right there. I'm kind of wondering if I can't use this core support from my shadow, my parts car, because it's got a different latch mechanism, but it's got the support bar right here. So I probably have to switch styles on the latch. Or cut a hole out for this. Let me do some thinking, guys, and I'll be back. Alright guys, decided to get the little finger chopper 5000. We're gonna trim up this Sundance core support and just kind of test and see how it fits. Let me take some parts off that unbolt first.
Every beam, every spark will not peace. Wheels turning green, feel the masterpiece. Sound of erection, metal in the swoop. The precision is still cruising the groove. Fast with the fast, on the tight. Brush these magic shining day and night. Take the shot, push the screw, won't hit. Building dreams with the jewelry flicks. Niggas will watch the frame, son, it. Custom rise, yeah, we rip direct. Had the blueprint, never miss a step. Yeah, man, my team was so no regrets. Just I do things so fresh with that tone respect. Yeah, in the hood, I rise, catch the press. Fabrication.
Alright guys, kind of wanted to get you loose from there. So, trying to line this up. I do got to cut all this stuff out. I wish I had one of them spot weld drillers, but I don't, so I'm just gonna have to like come in here and maybe cut it short or something. I was noticing while I was unbolting everything, it kind of looks like these might line up with some fender holes. These are a similar situation, probably not exactly the same position. I'm gonna get a measurement on this and just see how far it is from this point to the same side on this one, and then try to figure out where it is on this. So I'll be right back. Seeing about 50 1/4. $54 3/4. Let me get a marker. Mark center. Let's see if I can do some math. Quick math in my head. So half of 50 is 25. Add 2 is 27. That's half of 54. 3/4 is a little harder. 1 1/2 that don't exist. I know it's gonna be somewhere around in this area here. Dang it. It's actually closer to 54 1/2. We're gonna go 27 1/4. That's center-ish. Alright. So what'd I say? $50 1/4. So that's half is 25 1/8. So put that at 25 1/8. Cut there. Check the sides. Let's see, we're off 3. Set around 2 1/2 from the side. It might be slightly that way a little bit, so let's favor this side. We'll just cut along this edge right here. If we have to lay it up on top of here a little bit, we will. Alright. Take a lunch break. Be right back. Alright guys, I'm back from lunch. We'll get this thing chopped up, kind of test fitted. Also brought the other piece out just to kind of see what I want to do with it. And I was right, that front motor mount does mount a little bit different. So let me get this chopped up. Almost blew it apart on that one. Let's try a different. Here. Alright guys, so I'm cutting a little bit overboard, that way I could trim to fit. Okay, so it is a little too wide. If I try to line up both sides the same way, kind of hard to do because I haven't trimmed out the center part where the lights are. So if that's setting about, well, it does need to go slightly that way a little bit because you can see the fender through here. But if you do the same thing over here, complete fender. So we kind of try to put that around about the middle. Gotta find a happy medium. I think honestly I need to take these little nut certs out. Let me do that real quick. Guys, I'm actually gonna trim these pieces that go behind the lights out. They are in the way, but they're not, they don't include the kind of one thing I want. I don't know if you can see it. There's a hole right here with a little kind of little slide on nut cert. That's my radiator mount. I want to try to keep that, and that's the whole reason why I'm thinking about doing this, because I'm using the radiator from this car. So I feel like if I get the mounts from it, it might work and fit. Get a new blade so I can get in there a little deeper. Also, I think my charger just came for that camera, so let me go get that. Here it is, guys. I'd ordered this just after I filmed that last video because that last video did run down my battery completely. This is the magnetic door and power cable. Got it because they say that I could use this while filming, and it'll basically just keep the battery up. I won't be using the battery at all. Let's see what we got here. That's the door I need to put on. Oh, it's actually got a decent sized cable. Alright, and then I guess this just attaches there. That's all. It's just a magnetic attachment. And then it's got the little thing there where the power cable goes in. I should never have to open that door unless I got to change out the battery, maybe being bad or something. I probably will have to get a charger for that because I don't have that style port for a charger. One more thing I gotta buy. Be right back with that longer blade. Alright guys, so I just got it kind of balanced on the thing there. So it looks like we cut maybe at that little edge there, which is pretty close to the line I marked. Same thing there, pretty close to the line I marked, but honestly, if I line up this edge right here, it kind of falls over. Get that lined up there. Balance that there. That's almost perfect, guys. If I just cut at this line, just go straight, that might work. Then the thing is, how do we build up this area, or how do we do this area? I might have to notch it down here, depending on how it sits. Let's see, that'll go down a little bit, quite a bit actually. That might actually replace that. I might even be able to use that to tack down here to this port. Drill a new hole for the mount for this. Alright, let me cut those edges off and we'll see what it looks like. Alright guys, like I said, still doing rough cuts. I don't believe I'm going to cut this all the way down. Right there. Whoa, that was a shift. I don't believe I'm gonna cut this all the way down because of the fender mounts, so I think I'm still probably going to trim this up a little bit just to kind of meet up maybe somewhere in here, and I might just lay this on top of it and tack it. But I do want to cut out all this. I do believe I don't want to actually commit to it yet, but I do need to trim this side over here maybe to kind of match a little bit with it, at least even them up, you know. Not sure how I want to do that, but it is fitting pretty good in there. As for where it sits, I'm not sure. I almost feel like I need to get the radiator in there. Like it looks like it's gonna mount up pretty good there. I'd also like to see, I don't know how that condenser fits. I might do some more trimming on this. Also, I think we're sitting on the hood stops there, so as you can see, they are just a little bit out of sync, like, so they're not in the same spot. So I'll probably just remove these ones here since they're not going to line up at the same spot. That's another reason why I won't trim that all the way out, because I think I want to leave the factory stop positions there. So I'll probably just trim this piece here to fit down in there. I'm gonna have to figure out if I'll have to trim this out, because I think this latch, I can make like a patch panel here, and it should sit maybe on top here somehow. I don't really remember how this latch works. Oh yeah, it's got the little attachment there I need to worry about. So I might have to do a little notch for this down here somewhere, just enough for it to catch. I'm gonna get the marker, make some marks, do a little more trimming. I'll be right back. Alright guys, I did get it trimmed to fit around that spot. Right now I do kind of got it held on right here because there's this spot. I might need to trim this back a bit just to kind of make it fit, but right now it's being held in just by those two pieces. I could probably pull this like this, hook it, it either wants to do that or it's hard to do this one-handed. I'd like to get this through there so I can have some pressure. Maybe something like that. I know it's not gonna, yeah, there we go. So that's kind of how it might sit. Now granted, I got to make provisions for the latch. That's definitely got to come down some. And then I got to come up with the latch and somehow sit it in here. Kind of what I'm thinking now. I'd like to see how it lines up as far as the hood is concerned. I know it's going to sit up. Okay. So yeah, we definitely got the latch here. So we need to notch this out. Maybe I could drill a hole there for it to catch in instead of notching this whole thing out, keep the strength. Let's see. Sit down in here. And that's almost lining up. I almost wonder if that would be a good spot for it because that's about how far it's got to come down, but I probably will need to cut the top of this off. Because I don't know, if anything it might just be a tight fit. I think I'm gonna avoid cutting the top of this part off until we get everything in and then kind of test fit it and see how it works. One thing I need to do probably right now, there's the mounts for the top of the radiator right there, and unfortunately back here, so I got to cut part of the Omni off right here, like I was saying, just to see if I could access that. But I should be able to set the radiator down in here. I don't have the little pedestals here for the radiator to sit, although okay, they're not on the other one either. Alright guys, let me kind of test fit the radiator, see what it's going to do in place. It's got the factory Omni radiator brackets here, and I think here. Yeah, let me go get the radiator, set it in place, and see how it looks with this just kind of mocked in place. And I'll be right back. Okay guys, so in the true fashion and nature of this car, I have the radiator kind of attached to it by zip ties. But it is sitting in place where it's supposed to be. Now, I think it is probably a little high for where it's supposed to be. So it'll need to come down anyways, because I think we got, what is that, almost 2 inches to come down here. And we're gonna have to snip it there, so I will have to cut out them buckets a little bit. And I'm thinking that amount is gonna set these pads right here, and I'll have to try to find the actual mounting pads there, and I might be able to tack weld them there. It's almost there. I can cut it off and weld it and maybe manufacture a mount there for that one to sit in. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think the condenser sits there and there, and then bolts there and there, so that should fit. So that's kind of where I'm at right now, is just kind of notching. Gotta notch this, maybe notch a little bit up there, make it sit in place. I probably won't get to weld it today. This is just kind of cutting and test fitting, kind of running out of time for the day. But I think what I'm gonna do now, I might trim these pieces on the body here, just kind of lop a corner off right here and then there, and then see if I can't get this to set down in there a little better on top of the existing metal, and then see if it gets this down a little better. Looks like it's going to get that down quite a bit more. I can actually probably come in here and cut this flat and then be able to tack that in kind of wherever it lands. Alright, we'll be back. I almost cut my finger. I didn't wait for it to stop. Okay, because I want it to be a little more uniform, I'm going to measure this side, I'm going to mark this side, and I'm going to cut the same. Let's see. Right at 6 inches. Let's see, from there, it's 5.5 inches from this lip. On this front, mark our 6 inches, and then right here, come up on this lip, mark it 5.5. I'll have to try to line it up. There we go. Well, you don't clean up your edges with a cutoff wheel? Alright guys, that's just kind of roughly in place. Like I said, probably just lay it over top and weld it up. I'm kind of thinking about pulling this wire out and maybe running it through there, because it almost lines up with the original. That way I can go along here. This side, it almost lines up with some kind of hole there, but the big thing is I've got my stock hood bumps. Kind of wondering if it's low enough now. You come down here, and I think this side is sitting on the factory thing, on the mount, but it's not the correct mount. Still got a place there I can make a mount with. Let's see. Yeah, that dropped down severely. Like I could literally just kind of weld that, almost like lap weld it, or whatever they call it, where it's sitting there and you just kind of weld along this edge here. Let's see, maybe drill a hole there, or just
cut this part out here so that I could access it. I don't know, we'll figure that out when I go to try to mount the body kit. Let's close this down again and see how. I'm glad I was in here today because I was looking at those motor mounts. That's how it's going to be a little harder to do what I want to do to it. Also, I was looking back here. I don't know if I'm getting it, but that bushing right there is chewed up. Okay. So, still hitting there. I could probably take it off for now just to see if she sets down. We got about, what is that, about 2 inches before it hits the bump stop there. That's sitting up there. Huh. I don't know. I feel like I got enough space there to not have to cut this top off. I think it'll set right up in there and maybe press up against it, make it a nice tight fit. I'm gonna leave this on here until we really get to digging in it. That's sitting there, so that's pretty much as low as it's gonna get. I could maybe notch it or whatever and bring it down so I could weld it, or just hit it over with a hammer so I can get a nice weld going across there. Get this welded up there, and that'll give me my support there. I don't remember what this was used for on the shadows. Maybe grill mount. That's another thing I gotta do. Let me go ahead and see how the grill fits on this thing. I'll be right back. Alright guys, so you can kind of get somewhat of an idea of what I'm thinking about. I got those lights there. Just wanted to kind of take a test fit on them. They don't exactly fit in the spot that they need to go. I would have to get like some C10 buckets to modify these buckets. Get them a little more centered. Figure I'd do that for the boys that like to think that this is a Volkswagen Rabbit. Just go ahead and throw them off a little more with the round headlights. Tried putting the grill on, and this piece right here is interfering down there, so I couldn't exactly get that on. But you know, it kind of supposed to sit somewhere in that range right there. Looking like an old jalopy now. So I mean, I was planning on building a custom one of those anyways. I might have to come up here. I'm not sure how I want to do that, because I kind of want to keep that brace there for the support, but I kind of also, I mean, I could trim this back here a little bit, make that fit better, do a piece of 1x1 from here up to there to give the support, so that could work. It just won't look stock, which I mean, that's cool too. Still gotta figure out what I want to do there. I don't want to cut just a big notch in it. I want to see if maybe I could drill a hole there, so I might mark it and then later on drill a hole. These right here, I got to figure out how to mount. I'd have to probably cut more of that area out back there just to get them to center up more, which is fine. I just didn't want to do it today because I'm test fitting this. Alright guys, so I think that's going to do it for today. I'm going to try to get back out here in the morning, maybe get some more stuff done and figured out. So I'll catch you back in the morning.
Alright guys, it is the next day. I don't actually think I'm going to do any work today. I'll probably just end the video here. But I do want to kind of show you what I did off camera last night while I was charging this. And I think I'm going to kind of work backwards a little bit on the next video, which actually might be a couple weeks because I think I might have to buy some stuff. We'll figure out that one here later. But let me show you kind of what I got. You've already kind of seen everything mocked up here. I went ahead and took off the little, what you call it, the latch thing here, and I removed the little striker thing that it actually, the latch would come down and hook on. And that actually gave me, here, let me show you.
that actually gave me enough room to set this all the way down. So I was correct. I did have enough space up under there without cutting off that bulge there. Problem is, I had to remove, that's part of the reason why I had to remove that latch piece right there, is because it was actually hitting somewhere around in probably where that black mark is there. So I started looking at some things and the way the stock latching system works, and I actually put the stock Dodge, or the Shadow latch, back in there. And kind of what I was thinking was this. Alright, so this is how the actual Shadow mechanism works. It's just a spring that holds down in here, and when this little trap, this little thing right here, if I pull on the, where's it at? You can see how it operates right there. It just kind of releases. I think it holds somewhere. I don't know if you can see it down in there, but this pushes, this spring compresses and it holds down in here. And then this kind of basically holds there to make sure it doesn't just fling open. So if I set this here, alright, so if I set that there and line it up where the actual latch is, it could work possibly. Problem is, if you look down from the top, it actually sticks out the front of the hood, so it's too far forward. This is why I think I'm going to work backwards, because I think I want to use this latch system, because the other one was a little more worn out. And I think I like this one better. I'm just used to it, I guess. So what I think I'm going to do, I think I may take this piece out, which is why I haven't welded it in yet. And let me show you what I'm going to do. Okay, so I think I'm going to come in here and leave just enough space for that. I'm going to notch it out. Let's see if I can do this. Like right in here. I'm going to notch it out in there so I have room for the thing to pop in there. And I'll mount it kind of in the same location as the factory, right? Pop some holes in there, put some threaded inserts in there. That way this can mount there. And then what I'm thinking about doing is just completely remove this whole thing that I just made yesterday, and not necessarily ditch the idea, but maybe just use it as filler pieces. And I'm gonna take some of this 1x1, and this one's cut a little short, so I can't really do it, but I'm thinking about coming in here, maybe kind of up under here, and do like 2 pieces of 1x1, bam bam, and then like cut this piece out here, right here, and weld this to the top of 2 of these. So this, it'll be kind of like setting kind of up on top of this on 2 of them. That way it gives it a little bit of structure, and it'll be just flat across the top here. I'll make that I'll make the latch there come down and hit, you know, get everything lined up properly, and do another 1x1, kind of like I was talking about vertically right here, to give us some strength this way. And the reason why I say it might be a couple weeks before my next video is I'm kind of considering replacing this all the way across with maybe some, what is that, like 3-inch, maybe 2x3, or hell, I might even cut that piece right there, put it across here. I did cut the original radiator mount off this one just to give me enough space to get this piece right here completely set down all the way. So this is how the radiator with the condenser would sit. I did get the condenser put on there. one of the things I could do when I switch over to this bar right here is for the radiator mounts that I got right here, instead of there just being there, I could either cut those off and then weld them to here, or just drill holes, nutsert, call it even. Other than that, I think this is pretty well where I'm headed. I think I'm just gonna build it out of this and maybe use this piece here to make the hinge, or make the latch work. I'll use this for more support down here. And see, that's the other thing. Let me show you this before I close out the video. Guys, so when I finally got that to sit down all the way, kind of what I was noticing was, we was looking at this, I already pulled that one mount or whatever it was here off, and I noticed that as I was looking down on it, that's almost flush there, so the whole grill situation is an issue. So that's kind of why, again, I was thinking 1 by 1 across here, 1 by 1 vertically going down here to give me something solid to mount to here. Maybe make, if I do continue to use this stock area and not replace it, I could do like a plate on the bottom for that 1 by 1 to mount to, just to give it a little bit of strength, kind of like how they do roll cages. Alright guys, so I guess that's gonna be it for today. I thought I was gonna come out here and finish up this radiator core support, but just kind of thinking over everything I want to do, I don't think it's gonna be something I'll be able to do this week, but at least it gave me an idea of what I need to do, and got me out of the house working on stuff, making videos for y'all. I do got a lot of work to do. This is definitely gonna be a fabrication heavy video, because even after I get this done and then I rebuild the motor and get the thing running, I got to move on to the interior. The interior is going to be a heavy fabrication, mostly wooden fiberglass though, so there won't be as much welding. There might be some welding, but like I said, this is going to be a sound system car. I don't expect to win any awards off of it. I don't expect to break any records. It's literally me trying to see how loud I can get, and if it's possible to get windy using 310s, and only, I think I got like 1700 watts for the bass. So the goal is small stereo, small power, as loud as I can get. If you did like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, you haven't done so already, hit the subscribe button. Help me get to that 1,000 mark so I could actually start, you know, getting things coming in. I'm trying to make this my job, so any help from y'all would be greatly appreciated. Like, share, subscribe, and until next time, have a good day. Peace.